Booklets, ladies, booklets. Right? So here it is, guys. When you're getting a loan, this is particularly for loans. If I were to graph the amount of principal paid off versus the interest being paid every month. And principal, let's give that a solid line. Interest, let's give it a dashed line. What do you think happens to the amount of interest you pay if this is time and this is money? At the very beginning, do you pay a lot of interest or less interest on your payment at the very beginning? You start off with a lot. Every payment is going to have a significant chunk of it being interest. And as time goes by, you start paying less and less interest. Okay? What happens to the principal you're paying? At the beginning, very little of your payment goes towards your loan, towards paying off your loan. And as time goes by, you actually end up paying more of the principal as time goes by. Okay? So that's an important concept, that every single month or bi-weekly periods, you pay interest and you pay principal. And as time goes by, you owe less and less. So you're starting to pay more principal and less interest as time goes by. Okay? So that's an important concept that you need to know. The other one was, I'm just going to make a line here. If question asks for time, okay, n can be a decimal. Decimal answer. If question asks for number of payments, then n needs to be rounded up. Okay, that's another food for thought there. So this example right here, I just made this one up, but let's say you owe this much money, you're making $500 payments. How long is it going to take you to pay it off? And you go alpha, enter, and you get this. This would be 64.79 months, right? Because PY is 12. Or you could turn this into years. If it asks for years, you just go this divided by PY. Decimals are fine, okay? But if the question asks, how many payments will it take to pay off this loan? How many payments does it take? 64 and then some. Like there's going to be one extra payment, a 65th payment, that is a little less than $500. Okay? So the wording is the key here. And I have to remind you, we're talking half a mark here. Okay? So we're not talking, it's not the biggest deal. But if you're particular on getting full marks, that is what it's going to come down to, okay? So the wording is key there. Additionally, okay, what you need to have here, a few pointers, is you need to make sure you know your simple interest. There are two formulas. you need to know your compound interest. The formula looks like this. Compound interest, you need to know that one. You need to have your rule of 72 down. Okay, you need to have that one. That's a doubling time. There's the finding the time, right? How long will it take to double? And there will also be what interest rate do you need to double it in a certain amount of time. There's two formulas, go check it out. Obviously TVM, and that splits into investing and loans. Another sticky here. I got that. Remember that there you can have portfolios. You can have mortgages. Leasing. And here are the pages that I will suggest for you to try. They're all in this booklet. If you want just a regular review, I will say this, my reviews don't focus too much on simple interest and rule of 72, not much. They focus more on the TVM part because that is the heaviest. But the first chunk is found here. And this is all mixed, particularly TVM. Then there's old exam questions. Starting on page 107 all the way to 120. It's a TVM for the most part. I think I need you to also age versus risk. We talked about that. Like, how does the risk of your portfolio change as you get older? And it's, you want lower risk when you're older, higher risk when you're younger, because higher risk turns into more returns. And does this mean anything to you? I hope so. Rate of returns. That is particularly for investing, okay? That has to do with investments. So, are we completely done? I will find out after the quiz if I need to like emphasize more. So I will give you the 3 ACs that you can start. I did pull ACs that focus on simple interest, rule of 72, so you kind of are forced to go through that. But please don't think that it's everything. Like, oh, the 3 ACs, I got it. Unfortunately, I would say not necessarily, okay?